Hello, welcome back to the episode of Into Unknown. Today we dive into clowns. This will be a multi-part series about people who have done horrendous crimes just as a clown. We have one, of course, about cults, multi-part series, extraterrestrial life form stuff that's coming to the channel as well, and many more that we're going to have coming as a multi-part series to this series. So if you like that type of stuff, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Without further ado, let's step into the unknown.
Talk about the things we used to do, but until you return, I will be faithful to you. I will be faithful.
Paul Clark Jr. was a well-respected police officer in Springfield, Illinois for many years. In his personal time, he dressed up like a Klutzo the Clown and entertained children through the Big Brothers and Big Sisters programs. He volunteered for missions abroad to put on shows for the kids, and he did a lot of big-time things in the community. A lot of people seen him as basically just a nice guy, a guy who's helping the kids and better in their future, entertaining them for fun without pay and just volunteering to do good things. But he was said to have a lot of dark secrets in his life. He entertained many individuals, of course, on Sunday schools and orphanages of different things as Klutzo the Clown, but eventually he would get arrested on charges of traveling to the Philippines to have intercourse with kids and bringing back cameras full of child pornography. Law enforcement busted Paul Carlock at 57 at his Springfield, Illinois home. The feds found Carlock's camera and laptop full of photos of boys playing, showering, and sitting clothed, but with their genitals visible. He was sent to the jail, and while waiting trial, he was tasered to death by a guard inside the jail cell. When Carlock was apprehended, he was said to be unresponsive on arrival, and he committed himself to the hospital psychiatric unit the next day. He already had a history of mental and physical problems. In 2004, Carlock was diagnosed with depression and hospitalized after becoming suicidal. He was diagnosed with diabetes long before that and needed insulin on a daily basis. Shortly before the search of his home, he displayed cutting behavior, suicidal thoughts, and concerns that his wife would divorce him, according to court documents. The Marshall fears became a reality 5 days after the search of his home when Carlock's wife filed for divorce. Carlock broke a plastic spoon and swallowed it in an attempt to kill himself. 4 days later, he was taken from the hospital to the jail. He arrived at the county jail in stable medical condition and psychiatric health, indicating that his conditions were manageable. Attorneys for Carlock's estate wrote in the court documents that soon changed. Upon arrival at the jail, the staff didn't check Carlock's blood sugar, nor did he promptly receive his prescribed medication that first day, according to the plaintiffs, which led to more medical concerns, which eventually led to him dying in the jail cell. Carlock died via taser from the prison guards when he was being disruptive in his jail cell. They tasered him to calm him down at one point to restrain him, and then he did it hours later. They tased him 3 times, and he grabbed the pepper spray and sprayed it around and fought off the guards, and the guards, tried to restrain him, and it ended up leading to his death from that restraint. And it's still a mystery, a little bit of his death and everything surrounding his death, but like I mentioned before, it's one of the horrific stories, and still a lot of question marks around his stories, and still a lot of answers need to be made about all the victims and everything that was involved in Klutzo the Clown.
That was the first story, Klutzo the Clown. But the next story is a case that took 35 years to solve. So now let's dive into that one.
The Warren murder clown case started back in 1990 in Wellington, Florida. Marlene woke up early to make breakfast for her son, and it was Memorial Day weekend, and Marlene, who was 40 years old, wanted the day to start off well for her son, Joe, who was recovering from a broken leg. That Saturday, May 26, 1990, would turn out to be the worst morning of the family's lives. At 10:45 a.m., Joe and his friends who were spending the night over the weekend were watching TV, and they heard a knock at the door. And through the glass, they saw a delivery person dressed as a clown waiting on the front porch, carrying balloons and a basket of flowers. Marlene was very happy to see the clown, and she was a big fan of people dressed as clowns when she was a child. And as an adult, she liked paint pictures of clowns to hang on the walls of her house. When Marlene Warren opened her door, the clown with flowers had a gun and shot her once in the face, then turned and drove away in a white Chrysler LeBaron. The victim's husband, Michael Warren, and his suspected mistress, Sheila King, were the key suspects, but there wasn't enough evidence at the time to convict them. But many years later, they finally found enough evidence to convict them for the crimes. It took the police nearly 3 decades to find and make an arrest. It was in 2017 when the police finally made an arrest. Those who knew Marlene were shocked to learn that the suspect was Sheila King Warren, then 54, who had married Marlene's husband. Now, side note, you'll think that'd be the first person they look to. You saying, so you pass away and your husband's mistress gets married to your husband. That should have been a clue right there. But the police in the back in the day are very clueless. But back to the story. After Sheila got arrested near the home her and Michael shared, she was transported to Palm Beach County, where she was held without bond as she awaited trial. She pleaded not guilty, claiming she had nothing to do with Marlene's death, but prosecutors at the time said DNA evidence connected her to the cold-blooded murder. As investigators started to peel back the layers of the bizarre case, they learned that Sheila had tried hard to keep what had happened in Florida in the past. After marrying in Las Vegas in 2002, the two settled into a 4,000 square foot home on Lakeside French Tudor-style mansion in Albion, near the successful fast food restaurant they owned in nearby Kingsport, Tennessee. Many wasn't surprised that Michael and Sheila had gotten married, because investigators had looked into rumors of an affair between them after Marlene was murdered. Sheila, they later learned, worked with Michael, helping him repossess cars for his used car dealership in Florida. Marlene, the mother of 2 boys from a previous relationship, married Michael in 1972. He has never been charged with any crime connected to her death. The couple, however, had reportedly been having marital problems when she was killed. But at the time, the police did not have enough evidence to make any arrests, even though they found fibers from an orange wig in Sheila's home and in an abandoned white convertible later linked to Michael's business. Which leads to another side note. The police are very clueless. You found the wig that was said to seem to be like on the head of her, and you see they say they had witnesses who seen her purchase this costume, and you have the fibers of that hair in her home, and you have the white convertible that was abandoned with the same stuff in it that was linked to his business, and you still couldn't figure out who killed his wife. Really? Back to the story. Over the years, advances in DNA and other technologies helped convict Sheila after the case was reopened in 2014. Forensic scientists found orange fibers matching those found in the car and in Sheila's apartment on a ribbon attached to a balloon. On April 25th, 2023, Sheila pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for shooting Marlene, sentenced to 12 years in prison. She was released in November 2024, 18 months after she entered her plea, Department of Corrections records show. The son of Marlene said that he wished Sheila would receive a life sentence for killing his mother. He said, "I lost my whole family, but it's a comfort to have 2 angels, my mother and my brother. They're always watching me and guiding me home." And also another thing that Joe revealed too as well, he said that his mom often told him that if something ever happened to her, she'd think that Michael did it. And he said, "I don't think he's capable of doing that." She said, "I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't put it past him. I think he did do that." So that was another thing that was said as well in the story, which is a very crazy and horrific story. But that is the end of the second story. Now let's head to the outro of the episode.
That was the end of the Creepy Clown Stories. If you like that content, please leave a like and subscribe for more content, and tune into the next edition of the Clown Stories.